Welcome to the Chasing Brighter podcast.
You're about to go on a journey of self-discovery as we chase a brighter you. Every single week, we will bring you new episodes that will cover everything from lifestyle and tips to more serious conversations about grief, life, and hardships.
Allow this show to be a reminder to always keep chasing a brighter version of you. Let's get into it.
Hey, Kelly, how are you doing today?
Surviving, Jess. How are you doing?
Good. Not thriving.
You're not thriving?
No, you said surviving.
I'm
So I think of
surviving
it
and not thriving.
surviving
Yes.
versus thriving. You got a sick kid.
Yeah, I have a sick kid. It's crazy how your life just like switches on a dime and
Yes.
you have to learn to be adaptable. But my day was going fine and I had a quick break between calls and I was like, you know what? I'm going to paint my nails really quick. And so I went up to the bathroom and I got all my stuff out and I was filing them and I was like, okay, this is great. I have 15 minutes before I have to hop on a recording session. And so I was going to get it done. And a call comes in on my mobile and I don't know who it is. It was a local area code. And I was like, it didn't say spam. So I was like, I don't know if I should answer or not. So I clicked to answer it, but I didn't say anything because I wanted to hear what the other person. And then it was school calling that Wes was sick. And so I was like, they're like, oh, Wes threw up and you have to go. He's in the office. I was like, I'll come right now. So I dropped everything to go pick him up. So it's going to take me a while to recalibrate my life right now because now I have a sick kid and I have to make sure he's going and doing his thing to get myself back to the thriving mindset.
Let me tell you something crazy, Kelly, unless you've talked to Mom about this. So Justin and I took our 13-year-old Dominic to California for a
Oh,
tournament.
yeah. No, I haven't talked to her since.
And Gabriella and
gone.
Giovanni stayed with Mom and Dad.
Yes. Yep.
Giovanni had planned a sleepover with his best friend, Miguel.
Did everyone know this or was that? Okay, that was
Yes.
part of the plan. Okay.
Yes. Gio is one of my kids that tells me everything. He's got his finger on the pulse of Spirit Day and bring this to school day and whatnot. So the plan was that he was going to stay the night at Miguel's house, and then they were going to go to the batting cages Sunday morning from 10 to 11, and then they were going to bring Giovanni home. Okay? Miguel is new to baseball. His mom took Gio, and Gabby ended up going to the batting cages 2 weeks ago, and Gabby was so helpful. She's really good with younger kids. She's really good at helping and lessons and all the things. The mom was like, this is great. She's going to go back to the batting cages again. I get a call from Mom and Dad. Miguel got hit in the face at the batting cages. The mom's on the way to the ER. They're bringing Giovanni home.
Oh, no.
What? So what happened is Miguel's uncle had them in the batting cages, and they were practicing pitching behind a net. And it's called an L screen. You seen that? Think about it, shape of an L. The pitcher pitches, and then you can step over after the pitch. Okay.
Yep.
He had told Miguel to go behind the screen or stay out of the way. Gio pitches. The uncle hits it. Gio's got cat-like reflexes. Gio ducks. Miguel's behind him. Miguel gets hit in the face. I'm like, does he have a broken nose? What's going on? So we get home. I'm texting his mom, how is he? What's going on? Oh, we're being admitted to the hospital. He has a skull fracture. And I'm like, what?
Oh.
And he
that's such a bummer.
cannot
His uncle
be in
must feel so
baseball
bad.
anymore. He cannot be in PE
Contact
anymore.
sports.
And his birthday plans were to take Giovanni to Universal Studios or something for his birthday. And now everything, he can't do any of those things. You have to be really careful now until it's all healed. And so I kept messaging the mom, because he stayed the night at the hospital and then he was released the next day. And how's he doing? He sent me a picture. Kelly, his eye is swollen shut. Showing you a picture.
Oh, actually, it looks
Super
good though
swollen.
compared to.
But
I know it's
swollen
crazy, but
shut. But you talk about, we bought baseball gear and baseball cleats and baseball, and we're practicing baseball, and then now it's, oh my gosh. So Gabby is a pitcher. She got hit in the face by a ball. In softball, they wear masks, which I don't know why they don't in baseball, but definitely
they're okay
on
with
the left
deformed
side of
men,
the
but not
field.
women.
On the left side of the field, catcher, shortstop, third base. I'm sorry, pitchers, shortstop, third base wear masks for sure. And so Gabby was hit in the face and she didn't want to pitch. And it took her really a long time
Yes.
to recover from the
Yes.
fear of getting
Yes.
hit.
Yeah.
Now you talk about the uncle feeling bad. Giovanni, 2 nights in a row. I'm a bad friend. It's my fault. I should have caught the ball. I should have told Miguel to move. I
Oh,
should have. So he keeps
no.
saying all of these. It's my fault. I'm a bad
The
friend. Oh
survivor's
my gosh.
guilt.
Yeah.
Oh,
Survivor's guilt.
man.
But I know I just feel like you said so much happens at the drop of a hat. And I think you have to pivot and rethink. And you think like with Wes being sick, you're like, okay, you have to reevaluate today. But then you're like, what if it's a 2-day sickness or a 3-day sickness? I need to start canceling these things and move these things around. And who's doing this? And depending, because I know I don't think you have the boys are older, so you leave them alone. But Gabby's our babysitter. So if Gabby's down, I have to recalibrate like, oh, who's gonna watch Geo? Who's
Yeah,
it's just all
no.
these different
Yeah, we don't have
things.
I don't know what this is. We're gonna have to figure this is
Right.
like it sucks when kids are sick like this because 'cause you're like, "What happened?" Because he has stomach bugs. So,
Did
we
he
don't
eat
have
something?
yeah,
Is
but he
it
didn't
going
eat anything. He hasn't
around?
had
Is it a
anything this
fever? Is
morning.
it
Did he have
gonna
something last night? But I cooked all the food last night, so then I'm like and the rest of us are sick, so then just working through.
so someone said a stomach thing is going around here, and can I tell you, I think I've told this before, but, like, in a family of 5, it's so I remember it was like one kid was down, another kid was down, another kid was down, and I was down, and Justin hadn't gotten it yet, and it was just puking and horrible, like, years ago, and I just kept whispering to him, "It's coming for you because you know it's coming." Or is it coming? Is it something contagious? Is it gonna go through the whole family? Out of all the things, the stomach stuff
It's
is
the
not I can't
worst.
take it. I
No.
can't.
Yeah, like, you can, like, muddle through a sinus
Just get, like, a
infection.
stick with a hand on it. They're they're there, Wes. They're there. Stay 6 feet away. Oh, I feel so
Yeah.
bad, and he's at an age where they don't let you
It's so
mother
weird where
necessarily.
he said last night, he's like, "Oh, this is great. I got baseball today, and then I'm gonna go to school tomorrow, and then I have, like, football, and then after, like, football, we're gonna go to McDonald's, and I just can't wait to go to McDonald's with the team, blah, blah, blah." And I was like, "Wow,
Yeah.
he has never said he's looking forward to something."
Wow.
And now I was like so then when I picked him up, I was like, "Maybe you feel better to go to McDonald's later." And he was just like he was so nauseous. He was like, "I don't" I like, he's don't even say the word, like, he was just miserable, so,
Yeah.
anyway. So, moving on, we're knee deep in sports season and just balancing things and getting into a routine. I think for me, when the kids first started this spring season, I felt like I had to be everywhere all the time and it's somebody has to be there and I want to be there all the time. Whereas now I'm slowly starting to relax with that. So like Wes had baseball practice last night and it's very late. It goes till 9:45 p.m., which is like way past my bedtime. So I had talked to Brian about it that, hey, why don't I take him and drop him off? It's 45 minutes there, 30 minutes home. But it's good that he's got a later practice because the traffic is a lot less. So, like, it's something that takes us an hour. In the evening, it takes 30 minutes.
Right.
So, this is something that when I talk to friends who are struggling or just trying to get through things, I know some of us are trying to do the best we can and we are being as creative as possible. But, like, for me last night, dropping Wes off and coming home and knowing that Brian was gonna pick him up later so I didn't have to stay up there was such a relief. And it was like, this is much more manageable because otherwise I'm sitting in my car for like hours and I just don't want to keep doing that all the time. It's fine once in a while.
Yeah, I have never been a proponent of watching your child's practice. That is where I'm more old school. Drop them off with a stranger and hope for the best. But I think Gabby, Jesse used to coach Gabby, and she'd be like, "Why aren't you at my practice?" Giovanni was a baby. I was like, "Your dad's there. What do you need me for?"
Yeah.
And what I had started doing because Gabby's practice is far away, and it wouldn't make sense to
To
come home
drive
and
all the
come
way
back.
back.
That doesn't
Yes,
make sense.
exactly.
And so
Yeah.
that is one of the reasons in 2022 to 2023, I had joined Planet Fitness.
Uh-huh.
Yes, Planet Fitness is all over. It's $10 a month, and I think it's $10 a month, whatever it is. Whatever I paid, I was a Black Card member, which you can always bring a guest, and they have massage chairs, and they have, like, different water. They have, like, a water massage chair and a regular massage chair and all these different things. So I would just go walk on the treadmill a little bit if I'd already worked out, and then just go in a massage chair and look on my phone, and then they have a little lounge. And I would look for things and get excited. I would be like, "Oh, what's in that area? Oh, there's a really cute
Yes.
Target. Let me go over there." Or
Yeah, I
and
agree.
yeah,
I
yeah,
think so Wes his baseball practice is on Sunday mornings, and it ended up when it was early, I was like, "Sweet, hitting all the coffee shops up there." And then it's
yeah,
moved to a little later, and it was beautiful, and I walked on the lakefront the other day. I agree, I think
yeah,
it's trying to make use of that time while you're there. I think that's a
yeah,
great idea, looking around at places. I also discovered it's 15 minutes from my gym. So,
yeah,
I drop him off, drive to the gym. I only have, like, 30 minutes at the gym, but I'm at the gym on a Sunday. I never go to the gym on a Sunday.
yeah,
So, I just encourage everyone, and I have to keep thinking about that myself, where it's especially when you're schlepping kids all over and you're waiting in the car, can you walk around? Listen to our podcast,
yeah,
listen to a book. Think about ways to take advantage of that time, and also not feeling like you have to rush to, "Oh, I should go to the grocery store." Sometimes it's not about checking a box, it's about self-care. So
yeah.
maybe that's what it is like figuring out ways to use that as a self-care
I
moment.
get fun things for myself. I get excited about that I'm gonna do during the practice, but I've gotten for softball, she used to bounce around to areas that weren't really that great. But she's consistently been at a location that has a hike. There's a hike, and I'll just walk
Oh,
around,
that's
and my
great.
friends
That's
know, the
nice.
other moms know I walk, and they'll say, "Okay, I'll walk with you." And I don't recall what I do in the summer, to be honest with you. I don't know what I do in the summer. So when it's 1:15,
Yeah.
I don't remember because I don't like to sit in my car, but I will if I have.
I did it plenty of times in the winter and would just watch a show, read a book in the
Yeah,
car,
yeah.
and at some level, I think you just have to kind of embrace those moments as well,
Yes, what I will
you know?
watch in my car. I'm so behind, and you've probably seen it. Did you watch the show Inventing Anna?
Yes. Just the 1st season, though.
Is there more than 1 season?
Oh, then I didn't know if there was. Okay. Yeah, I watched
I
it.
think it's a short term.
Okay, maybe like a 6 episoder kinda thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I will watch that
Cool.
about the woman who frauded people or whatever. I just love the actress and her accent.
Ruthie from Ozark. Yeah. No, it's good.
I like her accent.
I love me a con artist spy show. I think
I
we've talked about
know.
these all
We
the time,
did
but
last
mhm.
mom talk. All we talk about is being frauded. Docuseries based on true events. Oh, this is what I wanna say about this. Okay, this is what I wanna say about this, everybody. We had Year of Yes on,
Yes,
our book club book,
pun
okay?
intended.
Yes, and for Shonda Rhimes wrote that, and Shonda Rhimes
Mhm.
has Shondaland. Shondaland produced that show, and something
Oh.
I noticed about that is she talked about how she gets all these awards for diversity and it like annoys her because she just has it reflect real life. Something I
Yes.
noticed about it was the humanity piece of that show. Like the male attorney, when he was home with his wife, he was having this talk and the kids were sleeping on their bed. It had nothing to do with the show. And they were talking and he said, "Do you think we'll be able to sleep in our bed tonight?" And she said, "No." And so there were, like, these little moments that I feel like if you think about all these shows the whole time we were growing up, written and produced by men, and when I was going into parenthood, I thought
Mm.
that you would say, "Good night, Timmy," and they'd go upstairs and go to bed 'cause
Yep.
in movies, the kids just disappear and go to bed, and you're never parenting. But on that show, she talked about not knowing how she felt about being pregnant because she was a career woman, and it was just, like, very fascinating to
It's
me
these
thinking of it.
subtleties within
Yes.
those shows.
Yes.
Yeah, you're
Of
right.
humanity and getting on a
Mhm.
bus and
The
just
human
real
experience of
life.
things.
That it's
Yeah.
not just all shiny, and I was like, "Okay, Shonda, I see you because I read your
She
book,
is so
and I know what you're
brilliant.
putting out in the world." And so it
Yes.
was just really cool to so now I wanna, like, go back and look at everything she had a hand
Well, yeah,
in.
because I was watching Kerry Washington
Mhm.
Scandal. Yes, so good. And it is, like, amazing.
Yeah.
And then I need to watch Anatomy of a Murder, right? Anatomy of a Murder?
No, How to
Something
Get
like
Away with Murder. Didn't
yes.
she do How to Get Away with Murder?
Yes, that's what it
I
is, yeah.
watched season 1 of Bridgerton, so I need to go
Oh,
with
yeah,
the
yeah. I know I
Queen
haven't
Charlotte and all the other things I
yes,
need
I
to
need to do
follow
that
up.
too.
But I think it was during the pandemic when I watched it, and it's pretty racy and spicy, and I'm rarely alone. So, so I'll have to find
But
time
when
to
you're in your car and it's 115 out,
yes, so what I
what more
did talk
opportunity?
about self-care, if you've ever had a High Noon beverage, High Noon kinda rebranded a little bit to skinny cans, but High Noon is a vodka soda, a
Uh-huh.
vodka seltzer in a can. And I brought some to the tournament, and Justin was like, "Oh, the team's gonna get together and do whatever." I was like, "I'm good." So Justin helps coach, and he was in the dugout the whole time. But the parents of that particular team, not necessarily my child's prominent team, is a team of hovering parents who make excuses the whole time about why everybody is wrong and their child's the most amazing child in the world. So after listening to that for a good 6 hours and Justin's like, "The team's gonna get together," I was like, "I'm good. You guys go. I'll stay home." I ordered food. I stayed in the hotel. I ordered food, drank I had 1 high noon, and I watched Inventing Anna, and I just said no, and that is when it's okay to say no and just stay home.
Yeah,
So
it is a balance with sports parents, with your kids as teams, determining how to I think it's hard because when they first get involved, I lean in a lot to those parents. I develop all these relationships. And Beckett, he's moved around. So he moved last year, half of his team left, and then more people came. And I got to know some of them, but some of them have stuck around. And then he just moved again in the spring to a different team, which is part kids we know and part kids we don't. And then I know next year he's moving again to a different group.
yeah.
And so I have been a little bit more reluctant to lean in to get to know new people.
Yeah. So that's how
Um,
I feel for Dom's 14U team. The other team, I know the parents we've been together, a couple of the parents been together a long time. Those parents were not there. And there was just one toxic dad who was guest playing, and it takes one bad apple spoils the bunch. And he was just talking so much negativity that people were like engaging in it. And I was just like, oh man, it's
I
just
can't
like,
I I can't do it. It's hard. So baseball as an example, where every time that doesn't I definitely am not that person, been around people who are, where it's like baseball is an example of it's individual and team where there's this moment where there's something happen, it's that person has to do that thing. And if that person makes that mistake, it's like deflating. But then
yeah,
the next thing you never that person does something else. So everybody does something good
yeah.
and sometimes not great. And sometimes it's hard as a fan of the team to see them win, want to win, or you want to see your child's team win because
Mhm.
that's the downside of parenting. Because Beckett's soccer coach, by the way, is all about like development. It's not about winning or losing. And he's always trying to tell us this because we want to win. We're parents. I don't want to
Yeah,
show up and just watch them lose all the time.
right,
I'm not there for everybody being like, yeah, like I put my kid in a sport. They are competitive. I'm not like, go win all the time. I love when it's just a good game and it's close and it didn't turn out in their favor, or it does, and that's great.
right,
But when they get
right.
blown out, that's tough too.
Yeah,
And the coach is always, this is our opportunity, blah, blah. But for baseball, it's definitely one of those where it's hard because
yeah,
sometimes one mistake costs a lot of runs and can cause a game, but
right,
it's not that. And that's why I've told my kids have been in that. Wes has been in that spot where it's like,
right.
Wes, you didn't lose the game just because you missed the one thing or just because you got the last out and you guys could have come back. Don't put that on yourself. And that is really
Well,
hard
yeah,
to
and
see.
I also think there are a lot of people, I don't know if you see this, they have the air of like their kid
Oh, yeah,
is
yeah.
the best. And
I don't know if
so
they truly
they
feel that way
sit
or
in
they
the
come across that
stands and
way.
they're like
Their
just
child's
going
mistake.
on and on about their
Yeah.
kid. And it's I don't talk about my kid like that to people, or I don't say anything. I literally come, I sit down, I'm quiet, I cheer for everybody, and I leave, right? I'm not gonna be like, "Oh, this is his 17th whatever, he's batting whatever, and he's blah." And so this guy, his son was guest playing. We ended up, it was a really intense, crazy tournament. And let me tell you something.
Where's
3
the tournament
kids.
at, by the way?
This
Were
was
you
in
guys
California in
okay?
Irvine. Let me tell you something.
Oh,
It was a
okay.
showcase. So
Okay.
the day before, like, they do all your measurables and everything.
Uh-huh. Mhm.
And it was very tough for baseball. There's double A and majors in each
Uh-huh.
division. And so they normally play double A. This was a majors tournament. California is incredibly competitive for
Mhm.
baseball and softball. We had 3 kids. 1 got hurt. 2 had class field trips that they
Yikes.
had to go to.
Yeah, it's a busy time of year. Yep.
We were missing 3 major players. We signed up for this tournament a long time ago. We had a guest player. We play this team anyway, so we play this team, and we knew we were gonna get blown out. They run roll everybody, okay? Dominic pitches, I don't say anything. I don't say, "How dare you make him pitch it," like, Kelly, they hit every time they hit to the fence. It was just, we knew we were gonna lose to them, right? Like, even the parents were like, I don't think they've ever gone to 4 innings before, like, the parents were obnoxious. Kelly, they were ahead 9-0 in the first inning with 1 out, and we got out at first, and they contested it. And they were, like, still, or they already
Was
batted through their
Dominic
lineup.
upset from
So
getting
no,
rocked?
nope, he did a really great, their
Was it, like,
pitch,
also the end of the first
what's
inning
it
starting
called?
when it was, like, 9-0 and he's only pitched 10 pitches or something,
He
where
was
it's like
put in the 2nd inning,
okay.
and their pitch selection was incredible. If it was a ball, they did not swing, and if it was a
Wow.
strike, they hit it. It was incredible. All these parents were saying crazy things, and I'm just like, I knew we weren't gonna do well in this tournament. We were missing 3 players. You just go, you have the experience. It's good to see, oh, like, all these parents think their kids are so amazing, and it's, "Oh my god." Then you see, right? You see this competition, which is crazy,
You see
you
where
know?
there's people who are at a different
Yes.
level.
So you're
Yeah.
like, "Oh my gosh, I have work to do." So I think it's good to see that everyone's well. So anyway, so I talked to the coaches, and he's, "Don't you know this is Harvard Westlake?" Okay. This is the feeder team to Harvard Westlake. Let me look up Harvard Westlake, Kelly. I want you, it's 7th through grade 7 through 12. First of all, this name is Harvard, right? Harvard Westlake. I want you to tell me what you think the tuition is. You're Don't overthink, just,
Well, actually, I was looking something up, so I'm gonna go with 70,000 a year.
it's $46,000 a year. $46,000.
That's the high end of schools around here, for sure. But, by the way, speaking of that, so Wes is watching where were we? He's watching a baseball game of, 2 high school teams playing, and it was IMG Academy in Florida. It's Bradenton, Florida. It's a sports college, Jess. It's a sports school, high school
Yeah.
that is, all sports, and I've never heard of it before.
Right.
How much do you think that is a year?
70 grand since you said 70.
It's 70, right, it's 70,000 to go, and if you wanna be boarded, it's 90,000. It is an all sports private school, and most of the kids go to Division I school. It's like football, baseball,
But you
basketball.
know
It's
what's
like
crazy is, if you just saved your money, your kid would you could they could go to any school they wanted to go to.
I thought it was strange because, first of all, everyone needs to do what they want and what makes sense for them
True.
in their life.
True, true.
None of my tribe are people that are in that
Right.
kind of mindset. But what I would say is it's people who have the means, or maybe there's like scholarships because their kid has a lot of
Right.
talent that's really important to them and they're sending their
Yeah.
kid there. But like,
Yeah.
do you lose out on the high school? Because there's such a way to be
Well,
specialized
with this
everywhere.
school, Kelly, it's grades 7 through 12, so you're paying that for 6 years.
Just, I have
And
friends
with
that
travel
I
ball,
know people who
it's
are spending
thousands
that
of
much
dollars
on
on
private
top of
schools.
that.
It's
On
true.
top of that, like, you're spending on the sport, but they probably have, so this team, Kelly, I don't even know if they had a player under 6 feet tall. This was 13U.
That's the insane part. Or like maybe some of these high schools or middle school up are schools that are breeding grounds for these elite
Yeah.
players.
Yeah.
And I question what I thought was interesting about that is A, I had never heard of this high school, but maybe I'm just under a rock and I'll hear about it more. But B, it's not like you're in the MLB or the NFL and all those people are from those places, and maybe a lot of them are, but isn't there this world of diversity? Or I want if my kids go that route, great, but I want them to have a well-rounded you're just purely breeding an athlete.
So I've seen a lot of people, even who were freshmen, who they said they're gonna go play collegiate softball, have all quit. And so do you allow that if you have these kids in the school from, like, 7th to 12th grade, do they even have a choice then? They don't even have personal growth or the ability to quit or drop out or get hurt or whatever it is. If you put them on that
Yeah.
track, then they have no option, and we do talk all the time to Gabby and my friends in the softball world where you're like, "Okay, you don't wanna do it anymore? Bye, let's go."
I
And that
think yeah,
so
I think it's like one of those where if you have the means and you wanna give what's we all you and I wanna give our kids every opportunity and whatever we can afford to help them in those opportunities, great, but continue to check ourselves and them on, "Is this still what you wanna do? We will help
Right.
support you in doing this." And I think it's making sure that what you're doing is meeting the kids where they're at.
I just imagine you'd be like, "I've been spending $90,000. You don't get to quit." Okay.
I will say this though, if you what I would be surprised at is for some of those schools where they are like breeding athletes like that is how many of those kids come from families that had some sort of professional athlete. And so I think
Mm,
when you're in
interesting.
that realm and things just you're exposed to things at a different
Yeah.
level. Like we were just watching super random idea on that is there's like a so we watched on Netflix The Drive to Survive, which is a Formula 1 series. It's a decent family show. They censor words in some way because it's a lot of language sometimes, but we started watching this Indy 500 one, which is cool because it's about the build up to the Indy 500. But one of the drivers in there, he's like the youngest IndyCar driver, and he's the youngest to ever won a race, and you're like, "Wow," and he's 20 something and he just like, "I just bought this new house in Nashville and I don't have any furniture in it. My mattress is on the ground." And I'm just like, "This is all very weird." And then they proceed to talk about the fact that his dad was an IndyCar driver. So then it's of course. And then he proceeded to talk through like where he came up. Like he was racing go-karts when he was 8 and he was winning races when he was in his teens and he was
Yeah.
like there are kids that grow up in that world where they're just exposed to it and it's like a normal thing, and I think that those kids have the drive because they think maybe this is just how they wanna be, and I hope that they continue to have the passion for it, and some of them
Yeah.
do, and I don't know if some of them don't, but they do it to please family, I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. It's a balance, right? I think you and I talk about that a lot. The balance of like pushing and supporting your kid and then letting them make their own choice. It's a balance of knowing what's right.
Yeah, and I have really made a concerted effort to not only push in some ways, I'm pushing them because 'cause they've gotta do work off the field if they wanna continue to play and be where they wanna be. So I've been pushing them, and I check in on them to ask if they wanna be pushed or not, a thing, right? I'm continuing to check in with them, but I'm also, I think, balancing it with letting them be kids, and Wes, I put so much pressure on him for the last year about testing, right? Because I wanted him to get into a good CPS school or to get into private schools, and it was all this crazy stuff. And the thing what is unfortunate is that it became a well-worn path for me, where my interaction with him has been like, "Are you doing this? Are you doing that? Gotta do this, gotta do that." And so I am really trying to, like, pull that back, Jess. He doesn't wanna talk to me much because I think he's afraid that I'm gonna be like, "Gotta do this, keep your grades up, do" right? And I'm trying to, like, make an effort to not say anything about what he should be doing and just be
Yeah.
with him and change my dynamic with him, and it's only been a couple weeks that I realized this, and I'm still working on it.
Yeah. I think that's tough. I think particularly with the eldest a little bit. It's hard. Again, it's a balance. I find myself in I think similar situation with Gabby, and so getting a feel for where she's at because I ride with her so much. We do have opportunities in the car a lot to do other things and talk about music and
Yeah, it's
so
anxiety. I notice it's my own anxiety with my child, and I just need to, like I'm really trying to stop it because I just want them to have fun. They both are at a stage where they're
Right.
great kids, they're great
Right.
athletes. I want them to love what they're doing and truly enjoy it, because if you're not smiling out there, then
Yeah.
you're not
Yeah.
happy, or
I
and
think it's
so
just
it's hard.
creating moments. It was funny. Dom is so funny this whole weekend because he'll be like, he thinks he exaggerates so much. Like, I'll say, "Oh, did you get anything to eat?" "No." "Okay." And he'll be like, "You're freaking out. You're freaking out. You're freaking out that I want to eat." When I'm not freaking out. I ask you a question. And so I would pack snacks and he'd be like, "I'm fine." And then of course he'd be like, "Oh, do you have those like body armors or primes or whatever?" I was packing all these different drinks and stuff. And so it's like he wants me to go away and leave him alone and not take care of him, but then he's, "Oh, hey, what'd you bring to take care of me?" Yeah, and
Oh,
it's
yes.
so funny. So, like, yesterday, we were at Gabby's softball game, and I had sunscreen. I said, "Hey, I need you to put sunscreen on." And Dominic's very dark-skinned. He's very dark, beautifully skinned young human, and I said, "Hey, let's put some sunscreen on your face." And he was like, "I didn't put sunscreen on the whole tournament, and I'm not burnt." And I go, Do you see my age spots on my face? You want to have age spots like that?" He's we're not the same person. Do whatever you want. But it's like, I was a darker skinned child myself who didn't burn, and I am
It's
now
well, it's so hard to so the beauty of any of you guys who have kids who are 12 and under, where you can still be like, "Hey, don't forget your water bottle."
Yeah,
Or did
yeah,
you wanna pack your snack in case you
yeah,
need it? Where in the early teen motherhood or parenthood, you're like, "Okay, I know they're gonna fight me, so I gotta be prepared for a logical reason." So then for a while, you try the logic, and that seems to work okay, but other times it doesn't. So, like, Wes yesterday, he's on his way to practice. I see that he's got, like, an inch left in his water. I was like, "Do you want" and he has a 2-hour like, an hour and a half practice. Do you wanna refill your water with anything in my water bottle? Because like, you need to go do that." "No, it's fine. It's fine." I'm like, "That's not much water." And he's like, "It's fine. We don't get water breaks. It's fine." I'm like, "Dad's picking you up. So you're gonna be SOL if you need water." He's, "Oh, then I'll take some water." So it was like
yeah.
me, like, pushing on what is the thing that's gonna change his mind.
I don't know why. Why do we have to refuse water? Another life, we must have been dehydrated,
Yes.
but we covered a lot today. It was a good mom talk.
Yeah. Thanks for listening today. Don't forget to subscribe so you can hear our latest episodes as soon as they drop.
If you loved today's episode, share with a friend. Come visit us on Instagram or Facebook. Make sure to give us a follow. We have lots of giveaways. If you want to know more about Kelly and I, read our blogs, find more tips, tools, and resources, check that out at chasingbrighter.com. Thanks.